Welcome to our first lesson of the school year. Super exciting for me, but a little frustrating. I normally have my like writing tablet pad right here. I got my dope little glove that I wear. I've got my little pen that I use, but I got a brand new laptop, new MacBook, just so I can just be more, I guess, polished and have some more features this school year and be able to do some new stuff. But I can't get my stinking pad to link up with my laptop. So I'm kind of go basic here. My writing, I just want to give you a heads up. Typically, my writing is going to be a lot smoother. It's going to be a lot quicker. It's because I'm using my hand. But for the lesson today, I'm just going to have to use my mouse, and I'm going to have to. It's just going to be kind of frustrating for me. So just bear with me a little bit. Because it's not going to be like that in the future. Even if I have to go out and buy a brand new pad that's going to link up with my computer, I mean, I'll do that. Whatever's going to make learning the cleanest and neatest and easiest for you guys to understand and smoothest for me, that's what I'm going to do. So just be patient today with me a little bit. And I just want to let you know right now that we're doing a lot of basic math, a lot to start the school year for a number of reasons. Just to get you kids familiar with some of the basics. But also there was just I don't know how school ended for a lot of you, how much math you've done in the last 6 months. And we're just going to start slow. So typically a lot of kids who are smart and love math and are good at it, they always come up to me and they say, hey, I'm in the wrong class. Like I need to be in a more advanced class than this. And I say, hey, you just need to bear with me for like 3 weeks while we just do some basic stuff. And then we're going to get into some more advanced stuff. So if you think you're in the wrong class, sit tight. The math is going to be really basic for the first couple weeks to get us just lay a nice foundation. And then after that, we'll get a little more advanced and a little more crazy. So today, we're going to be adding and subtracting integers. As you can see right here, I've got some pen writing capabilities with different colors and different sizes and stuff like that. And it's not going to be neat because, like I said, you just got to bear with me. So really, really basic concept today for this lesson. At the bottom of the lesson, you're going to see some homework questions that you need to do, probably 5 questions, just real simple. And what that's going to do for me is just let me know based on how well you did, how well everyone got the lesson. Okay, so you don't need to try and contact other kids and see what they got and make sure you get the right answers. I want you to just do it on your own and do your best. And that'll really help me with the effectiveness of the lesson. Okay, so we're going to add and subtract. And what I want to start with right now is I want to start with the adding. So hopefully you printed this sheet out. You can kind of go with it. If you have a separate sheet of paper you want to use to take some notes, great. Maybe on the back of this you can take some notes. But we're going to start with adding. And typically with adding, what's going to happen is you can have when we're adding, you could have 2 positives, right? So remember, my writing is going to be really gross here for the first day or 2 of lessons until I get things figured out. But we have some options. We could have a positive and a positive. And I think everyone knows how to add a positive and a positive, right? If we have 5 here and we have 7 here, I mean, it's basically 5 plus 7 is, and I haven't done math in a while, so hopefully my brain's going to work. I think it's 12. Okay, and that's simple. If you have a calculator, you just do 5 plus 7, and it's real smooth and it's real easy. Things can get a little trickier, right? And at any point, if you want to, in this video, rewind or pause, like you have those capabilities. Normally, you can't pause in a Zoom session, so that's why I like to do these videos. Now, what if we're going to add, let's just say, a positive and a negative? Right? We can add a positive and a negative. And there's some rules that I like to tell you about this. It doesn't matter if the positive goes first. It doesn't matter if the negative goes first. And I'll show you kind of examples for both. Okay, so what if I said we're going to add a positive and a negative? Right, we'll go to -7. Okay, when we're adding and we have a positive and a negative, what we need to look at primarily is what's the bigger number. Okay, I want you to ignore the signs. So like typically you could put your finger or you could imagine, hey, there's no signs here. We're just looking at numbers. Which number is the bigger number, 5 or 7? Well, 7 is the bigger number. Like we know that 7 is the bigger number. Okay, we're ignoring the negatives right now. Now, when we're adding a positive and a negative, we look at which one's bigger, and that number is going to kind of win in a sense. He's the winner. Okay, what that means is that, hey, we're going to end up keeping this sign since he's the winner. Okay, we're going to keep the sign. Our answer is going to be negative, okay, because he's the bigger number. Now what I do is I just subtract these numbers. I take the bigger number and I subtract the smaller number, and 7 minus 5 is 2, and we have our answer. Okay, so that's kind of what happens there with, and I'm going to give you some examples and we can kind of go through that, right? And you can pause it if you want to take some notes and stuff like that. Well, let's come over to question number 3 right now, and let's use those principles, right? We're adding, okay, we're adding, and we have a positive and a negative. It doesn't matter which one goes first. When we're adding and we have a positive and a negative, we're thinking to ourselves, okay, which number's bigger? In this case, the positive number is bigger. Okay, so that means our answer is going to be positive. Okay, real simple, right? I make that note right off the bat. My answer is going to be positive. Okay, now what do we do? Okay, we take the bigger number minus the smaller number. So we say, hey, 12 minus 6. You don't even worry about the signs at this point. And 12 minus 6 is a positive 6. So our answer here is positive 6. Right? Okay, it's kind of like a war, like we're battling which one's bigger than which. Okay, now we do have another type of example, but I'll go over that in a second. Okay, so what I want you to do right now is I want you to do number 8. I want you to press pause on your video, do number 8. Okay, and when you're done with 8, press play and we'll go over it. Okay, we're back. Now we're adding a positive and a negative, right? Like what we've been doing in our examples. Okay, which number's bigger? Well, you can see that 30 is bigger than 10. So in this case, our negative number is bigger. He's going to win, which means our answer is going to be negative. Okay, so what we do now is we just say, hey, what's the bigger number minus the smaller number? What's 30 minus 10? Okay, and that's 20. And we slide that down here, and our answer is negative 20. Okay, pretty simple, right? Pretty simple. Now we've got another example of something different in regards to adding. So if you're looking at adding now, you say, oh shoot, isn't this different? We're adding over here for number 7, we're adding a negative and a negative, right? Because up here we did a positive and a negative. Okay, so if we're adding a negative and a negative, we're adding a negative plus a negative, right? When I think of negative numbers, I think you owe someone. Okay, I think owing when I think negative. Okay, so this is like you owe somebody $1 and you owe somebody $46. Well, if you owe somebody 1 and you owe 46, that means you owe what? You owe 47. Okay, so when we add a negative and a negative, what we end up with is a bigger negative. We end up with a bigger negative. Okay, so here, what happens is if we have a negative plus a negative, it's just going to be a bigger negative. That's what you need to think about. I owe and I owe, right? So if I owe 1 and I owe 46, right? We know we're going to get a bigger negative, and we just say, hey, what's 1 plus 46? And I wish I could do a 46 because my finger just slipped. That's the worst 6 I've ever seen in my entire life. And we get a negative 47. Okay? Okay, let's practice really quickly. Let's practice. Let's go, what haven't we done yet? Okay, let's just do 9 and 10. On your own, 9 and 10. Okay, and press pause, hit up 9 and 10. When you're done, press play, and we'll go over them right now. Okay, 9 and 10. Let's do it. Okay, we have a positive and a negative. Okay, a positive and a negative. Okay, we're going to go up to our rules up over here. A positive and a negative. Let's see which one's bigger. Actually, 50 is the bigger number. Well, what sign does 50 have? He's positive. So our answer is going to be positive. Right? He won. Then we just subtract. Hey, what's 50 minus 34? And I think we get 16. Okay, our answer is positive 16. Now over here, okay, one's positive, one's negative. Oh, we're going to use our rules up here. We don't have a negative plus a negative. We're going to use our rules up here. Which one's bigger? 38's bigger. 38's bigger than 5. So our 38 is positive, which means our answer is going to be positive. Okay, and then we subtract. We say, hey, what's 38 minus 5? And 38 minus 5 is 33. So our answer is positive 33. Okay? You like that? Easy money, right? Easy money. Okay, now we've got, remember up here with our adding and subtracting, or our adding, we had two different scenarios, right? We had this scenario over here, and then we had this scenario over here. Okay, it's the same deal with subtracting. Okay, subtracting, we have two separate scenarios again. Okay, one scenario could be we just have one subtraction sign. Okay, and we all know, like pretty much we all know how to work 11 minus 4, right? 11 minus 4 is what, 7? Okay, that's easy. We're on number 15 now, but we have a new option down here. We have a new option. The option is, oh shoot, I have 18 minus 41. That's kind of tricky. Now, let me show you what you can do here. You can always do this if you want, minus 41. Now, you can always change a subtraction sign. Let me show you. You can always change a subtraction sign into plus a negative. Do you see that? You can always change the subtraction sign into plus a negative. And when we do that, what happens is we have the exact same scenario that we had before. Oh, now we're adding and we have a positive and a negative. Okay, we said, oh, which one's bigger? This guy's bigger. He's a negative, so my answer is going to be a negative. Okay, and then I subtract 41 minus 18. And we see what the heck's going on there. Now, I think that's going to be like 20. Oh, man. What is 41 minus 18 off the top of my head? 18, 19, 20, 21. I think it's 23. Negative 23. Okay? I know it's a gross 23, but it is what it is. Okay, so that's our one option. Our one option is to say, hey, I'm going to change you to an addition sign, and I'm going to change you to a negative. Okay, real simple. Okay, but we have another option, which is up here at 16. If we see minus a negative, which means we see two negatives back to back. Can you see that? We have a negative here, or a subtraction sign, and a negative here. Okay, if you ever have minus a negative, and I'm going to write this problem out for you, 48 minus negative 31. Okay. If you ever see two negative signs back to back, minus a negative, you can always say, hey, plus a positive. Okay, and what we just did is the same thing we did over here, right? It's the same thing we did. We said, I'm going to change you and I'm going to change you. I'm going to change you to a plus and make you a negative. Okay, but all we did here is we said, hey, I'm going to change you to a plus and I'm going to change you from a negative to a positive. Okay, so if you ever see minus a negative, you can say plus a positive. And it's real simple here because now we have 48 plus 31, and we know that's straightforward, like a 79. Okay? Alrighty. Now, I kind of want to see what you kids are made of. Let's do 26 on our own. Then we'll do 28. And then we'll do 29. Okay, so right now as a class, we'll do 26. Or should I just have you, hey, I want you to attack these three. See if you can do 26, 28, and 29 on your own. Okay, press pause, go ahead and attack. And then we'll go over them as a class. And then, you press play, we'll go over them and we'll be done. Okay, boom, we're back on. It looks like I have an addition sign here. Okay, I like that. I like adding. It's easy. And it looks like I have a negative plus a negative. That means I owe somebody 12 and I owe them 11, which means I'm going to owe them even more. Okay, so remember, a negative plus a negative equals a bigger negative. Okay, so I know my answer is going to be a negative. Okay, And then we just say, hey, 12 plus 11. I think that's 33. No, wait, no, it's not. It's 23. So we have negative 23. Boom. Okay. Now let's drop down to 28. We got 3 here. Eek. Okay, that's going to be a little tricky. Now what I would do is I wouldn't even worry. I'm just going to work left to right. Okay, and when we get to order of operations, you can't just work left to right, but here you can. Okay, so let's just take this in the beginning, right in the beginning. We have an addition sign. We like that. And we say, hey, which one's bigger? We're going to keep this guy and we'll drop him down later. Okay, but I'm only focusing on these first 2. Which one's bigger? 16 is bigger than 13. So I know my answer here is going to give me a positive, right? And then we say, hey, what's 16 minus 13? That's 3. Then I drop this guy down, plus 5. And 3 plus 5 is 8. Easy money, right? Okay, last one down here. Hey, do I see minus a negative? I do. Remember, if we see 2 negatives back to back, we can turn them into a positive. So I'm going to take this minus a negative and turn them into plus a positive. What's 2 plus 9? It's 11. What's 11 minus 8? 11 minus 8 is 3. Yes, sir. Okay, so that is our first lesson of the year. Okay, what you're going to see now right below this video, you should see about 5 problems for you to complete during homework. Okay, for homework, I'd do them right now before you log into our next video. Okay, you're going to have a video about the same length, new content, new lesson. Okay, you're going to see some homework questions right after that video. I would bust those out if you have time, and then hit submit and you're done for the day. Okay, so one more video and we're done for the day. Thank you for being patient with my writing. I'll see you kids in a little bit.